Have you ever felt calm on the outside, but quietly unsettled inside? Like a cup that looks full but keeps shaking in your hand? It doesn't take much to tip it. A careless word, a small change in tone, and suddenly your peace starts leaking through invisible cracks. Most people think anger comes from others, but it usually starts in the stories we tell ourselves. The Stoics didn't just understand this. They taught us to catch that moment, the tiny space between trigger and reaction. Once you learn to hold that space, you gain back the control you thought you lost, and you stop being ruled by everything that moves around you. Today we'll explore how to do that, how to stay steady even when life keeps testing your grip. There are 10 shifts ahead, each one a quiet step toward becoming untouchable. 1. Your reaction is your responsibility. Have you ever been annoyed at your laptop for not doing what you wanted? You click harder, restart it, even tap the screen, as if frustration could make it obey. But the machine doesn't change. Only your mood does. That's how most of us live, trying to control what was never ours to command. We often blame others for stealing our peace, but no one truly takes it. We hand it over every time we react without awareness. Why did you say it like that? What do you mean? You think I messed it up? Damn it, it's raining again. None of these are major events, yet they can hijack your entire mood in seconds. And the funny thing is, most of us were terrible at writing essays in school, yet somehow we grew up to become full-time authors of emotional drama in our own heads. Most people go through life like open circuits, letting every comment trigger a spark. But the Stoics learned something simple. You can't stop people from being themselves, only from deciding how long they live in your mind. When someone bumps into your calm, remember, what spills out is what was already inside. If anger comes out, anger was waiting. If peace comes out, peace was prepared. It's easy to say, they made me feel this way. But what they really did was reveal a place in you still asking for control. The goal isn't to silence emotion, it's to learn from its echo before you answer it. A wise man once said, "You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sail." Your reaction is that sail. It decides whether the same storm breaks you or carries you forward. Next time someone tests your calm, don't rush to correct, defend, or explain. Observe. Feel the pull, but don't move. And quietly ask yourself, am I blowing this out of proportion? What if he didn't even mean it that way? Most of the time, that small question saves you more peace than any argument ever could. Real power isn't in making others behave. It's in staying grounded when they don't. Because every time you choose composure over chaos, you prove that your mind belongs to you, not to the world that provokes it. 2. Stop expecting people to be you. Mother Teresa once said, "People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway." If a saint can give her whole heart and still be misunderstood, what makes the rest of us think everyone will meet our standards? We give love and expect loyalty. We offer help and expect gratitude. But life doesn't work like an even exchange. Expecting others to think or act like you is like demanding the ocean stay calm because you built a sandcastle too close to the shore. It's beautiful, but it was never meant to last that way. Everyone lives inside a movie where they're the main character, and your values aren't always in their script. Some people were raised in chaos and call it normal. Some were never taught empathy. They only learned survival. So when they hurt you, it's rarely personal. It's just them acting from their world. There's a quiet freedom in understanding this. You stop auditioning for roles in other people's stories. You stop expecting them to clap when you grow, to apologize when they should, to love the way you love. Here's the paradox. When you lower your expectations, you don't lose hope. You gain peace. You start seeing people for what they show, not what you imagine. That's emotional maturity, not detachment, but clarity. A father once told me he used to get angry at his son for not wanting to take over the family business he built from nothing. He saw it as rejection. But one night the boy said, "Dad, I want to build something of my own." In that moment, the father realized, love isn't about creating a copy of yourself, but raising someone brave enough to choose their own way. It wasn't disappointment, it was realization. The Stoic Epictetus said, "When you kiss your child, say to yourself that you may not have them forever." It's not a statement of sadness, it's one of acceptance. So the next time someone disappoints you, pause and remind yourself, they are acting from their nature, not yours. And that's okay. That's how you stop anger before it starts. By remembering that frustration always begins with expectation. Because your peace was never meant to depend on someone else's growth curve. If you learn to stop expecting mirrors in a world full of windows, you'll finally see more than yourself. You'll see life as it is, not as you wish it to be. 3. Let go of the need to be right. We all want to be understood, but sometimes the need to be understood turns into the need to win. You can feel it. That tightening in your chest when someone disagrees. It's not truth you're defending. It's your pride wearing the mask of logic. Think about your last argument. Maybe it was with your partner about something small. Where to go? What was said? Who remembered right? At some point, it stopped being about facts and started being about ego. You didn't want clarity. You wanted the last word. And somehow, that last word always costs you dinner. The Stoics taught that truth doesn't need to shout. It only needs space to be seen. When you insist on being right, you fill that space with noise until no one can hear wisdom, not even you. Let me tell you about a man named Jonas. He once argued with his wife for hours about money. Both were saying the same thing, just in different words. But they were too busy defending their own tone to realize they were already on the same side. Days later, he told me, "I won the argument, but I lost her smile." That's when he understood. Being right is often the cheapest kind of victory. The truth is, you can't build peace and be obsessed with being right at the same time. Because one feeds your ego, the other feeds your soul. When you choose peace, you don't lose. You just stop playing a game that never ends. A quote often attributed to the Buddha says, "Holding on to your views is like clinging to a raft after you've reached the shore. You needed it once, but not forever." Wisdom is knowing when to let go. So next time you feel the urge to correct, explain, or prove, pause. Ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to stay connected? Be honest. How many times have you won the fight, but lost the connection? You'll find that most relationships don't need another lesson. They need one person brave enough to choose peace first. Because in the end, being right doesn't make you free, but being calm, that's real power. If something in this spoke to you, drop a comment. Not to agree, but to remind yourself you're not alone. 4. Detach from validation. You've probably loved the Lion King at some point in your life, just like I did. Simba, the young lion who ran away from his kingdom, wasn't really escaping others. He was escaping the image they built of him. They said he was guilty, and he believed it. The world doesn't always need to chain us. It just needs to make us doubt ourselves. Sometimes you don't need a critic. A raised eyebrow from someone you love is enough to make you shrink. Most adults never grow out of that. We let someone's opinion, a glance, a tone, a comment, decide how we feel about ourselves. A single sentence can erase years of inner strength. A single silence can make us question everything we thought we'd healed. Howard Schultz once shared that when he tried to open the first Starbucks, almost everyone told him it was a terrible idea. No one will pay for coffee they can brew at home, they said. But he didn't let their disbelief define his worth. He simply kept building and let the results speak. That's what detachment looks like. Not arrogance, but quiet faith in your vision when the world hasn't caught up yet. The truth is, the world is full of mirrors that lie, and the loudest reflections usually come from people still trying to find themselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact." Yet how often do we live as if other people's opinions are carved into stone? When someone criticizes you, pause. Ask yourself, is this truth or just their reflection speaking? Most anger isn't about what they said. It's about why we needed them to approve us in the first place. Because most insults are mirrors of insecurity, not insights of wisdom. You don't need to become deaf to the world, just selective. Take what helps you grow and let the rest pass like wind through open windows. The Stoics never said to ignore people. They said to remain free from their approval. So when someone questions your choices or your pace or your silence, you don't need to fight or explain. Your job isn't to fix their lens. It's to stay rooted in your own. Because the moment you stop chasing their approval, you start hearing something clearer, your own voice returning home. So when someone tells you, "You've changed," smile. It means you've stopped living inside their story. 5. Protect your energy by setting boundaries. Your peace is like a garden. If you never close the gate, people will walk through it with their shoes still muddy, not because they want to ruin it, but because you never taught them where the path ends. Most of us spend years tending to everyone else's flowers while our own start to wither quietly. We call it kindness, but it's often exhaustion disguised as love. And the saddest part? The people who take the most from you rarely notice what it costs. A mother once told me she did everything for her son, cooked, cleaned, paid his bills, even when he was grown. Over time, he stopped noticing, because love given without limits becomes background noise, always there until it's gone. Yet I once met another mother, equally loving, but wiser. She still gave, but not everything. She let her child struggle, learn, and rise. And because she didn't do it all, her love was seen, felt, and respected. That's what boundaries do. They don't close love off. They keep it alive. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Freedom is the ability to live as you wish." That freedom begins when you stop feeling guilty for saying no. Because every yes that costs your peace is a quiet form of self-betrayal. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you sustainable. They're the invisible lines that tell the world, my time is valuable. My energy is sacred. My peace matters, and people who truly care about you will understand that language. So here's something simple to try. Before you agree to anything, pause and ask yourself, if I say yes, what part of me will have to pay for it? Your peace isn't an all-you-can-eat buffet. If the answer is your sleep, your calm, or your self-respect, the price is too high. Protect your energy like you would protect someone you love, because you are that someone. And when your peace is guarded, your presence becomes powerful. That's how you stop being bothered, by protecting the gates of your peace before anyone else walks in. 6. Build an inner shield against judgment. People judge fast. You quit your job, they say you're lost. You stay quiet, they say you've changed. You set boundaries. Suddenly you're the problem. That's how this world works. Everyone has an opinion, few have understanding. And if you're not careful, you start living like a public survey, always adjusting to stay liked. Imagine walking through a hall of mirrors. Each one shows a different version of you. Taller, smaller, twisted, exaggerated. Now imagine believing every one of them. That's what happens when you let other people's words decide who you are. Here's the funny part. If we charge rent for everyone living up there, most of us would retire rich. Marcus Aurelius said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He wasn't exaggerating. The comment hurts once. Your replay of it, 100 times. You can't stop people from judging. It's their favorite hobby. But you can stop giving their voices free access to your peace. Because every time you let it in, you hand them the remote to your mood. So build your shield, not of pride, but of clarity. Let their words pass like traffic, loud but not personal. Ask yourself, do I even agree with what they see? If the answer is no, let it go. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't need to convince the crowd. You just need to remember who you are before they told you otherwise. Because the truth is simple. The more you need to be liked, the easier it is to be controlled. Stay grounded, stay free. That's how you stop being angry, not by changing the world, but by building peace that no one else can touch. And if someone came to mind while hearing this, someone still shrinking to fit inside others' opinions, send this to them. They might need that reminder tonight. 7. Let go of control. Control looks powerful, but it's usually fear wearing a suit. We think being in charge makes us safe, but in truth, it's the mind's most elegant form of panic. Have you ever tried to hold water in your hands? The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. That's what control does to peace. It turns it into pressure. We try to manage everything, people, plans, outcomes, even emotions. We say, I just want things to go right. But what we really mean is, I'm afraid they won't. A friend once told me he used to check his daughter's phone every night, just to make sure she's safe. But all it did was build silence between them. He was protecting her body while losing her trust. We all do this sometimes. Love so hard we forget it doesn't always need to control. That's the quiet irony. Control doesn't calm your anger, it feeds it. That's what control often costs. The very thing you were trying to protect. It's funny, or we call it keeping things under control. Yet half the time, we're the ones losing sleep, not them. Here's the paradox. The more you need to be certain, the more fragile you become. Because certainty is a cage that looks like safety. Look around your own life. How many arguments were born not from evil intentions, but from the need to make others act the way you wish? How much pain came from forcing a timeline that wasn't ready yet? Jack Ma once said, if you can't change the wind, adjust your sail. He built Alibaba not by forcing success, but by adapting every time life changed direction. He didn't fight uncertainty, he danced with it. Most of your stress comes not from what's happening, but from wishing it happened differently. That's the real art of letting go, trusting the current more than the oar. There's a quiet strength in saying, I'll give my best and let life shape the rest. It's not surrender, it's trust, the kind that allows you to sleep without replaying every scene. That's how you stop being bothered, not by escaping the noise of the world, but by mastering the quiet that outlasts it. So try this. At the end of each day, whisper to yourself, I did what I could. The rest is not mine to hold. You'll be surprised how light your heart becomes when you stop carrying what was never yours. Letting go isn't losing control. It's choosing freedom over fear. And sometimes that's the most powerful form of mastery there is. 8. Turn anger into gratitude. Have you ever lived through a day so heavy that you almost gave up? And only when gratitude rose inside you, the day finally became peaceful again? That's the quiet power most people underestimate. We think gratitude is a soft emotion, something we practice when life is kind. But real gratitude is born in despair. It's forged in the moments when nothing seems fair, yet you choose not to curse the sky. Anger is easy, it's fast, familiar, and loud. But gratitude, that's a slower fire. It burns cleaner. It turns bitterness into clarity and pain into perspective. Think about it. Every time you're angry, it's usually not because something went wrong, but because it didn't go your way. Someone cancels plans. A friend forgets something important. Your partner snaps without reason, and you start drafting emotional revenge texts in your head, but thankfully never send them. And your peace starts bleeding away through 1,000 small cuts. The Stoics taught that gratitude isn't pretending everything is fine. It's remembering that nothing truly belongs to you. Not people, not comfort, not even peace. When you see life that way, every moment stops feeling owed and starts feeling borrowed. Maybe peace doesn't arrive when everything's perfect, but when you finally stop waiting for perfect. Sometimes I think the world would heal faster if we learned to say thank you more often. Not to people, but to moments. To the ones that didn't go as planned, because they grew us in ways comfort never could. Epictetus wrote, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for what he has not, but rejoices for what he has." That's not blind optimism. It's emotional mastery. It's the strength to see beauty without needing perfection. So tonight, before you sleep, think of one thing that frustrated you today. Then ask, what lesson hid inside it? Maybe patience, maybe humility, maybe a reminder that you're still learning to stay soft in a hard world. What did life try to teach you through your last frustration? Gratitude doesn't silence anger, it transforms it. It turns "why me" into "thank you for showing me." It doesn't make life easier, it makes you deeper. And that's how you stop being ruled by anger, not by denying it, but by transforming it into clarity and calm. Because life isn't asking you to smile through pain, it's asking you to see through it. 9. Master stillness before the world moves you. They once asked Tom Hanks, the man known across Hollywood for his calm presence and grounded grace, how he manages to stay steady through decades of fame, chaos, and scrutiny. He smiled and said, "This too shall pass." 3 words that sound simple, yet carry the kind of strength most people spend a lifetime searching for. He doesn't fight the rhythm of the world. He lets it move, and somehow he stays centered while everything else spins. That's the essence of stillness. Not a lack of movement, but an anchor that doesn't drift, no matter how strong the current. Have you noticed how some people stay composed while everyone else loses control? In the office, one colleague panics over every email. Another quietly handles the crisis like it's nothing new. At home, one partner yells when plans fall apart. The other simply says, "We'll figure it out." Peace isn't found in what they do. It's found in what they refuse to feed. Think of life like a crowded train. You can stand and push against every shoulder that brushes yours, or you can find your balance, let the motion carry you, and still stay upright. That's mastery. Not of others, but of your own rhythm. A friend once told me he used to lose his temper easily. He'd argue with waiters, complain about traffic, or get offended when someone spoke too bluntly. One day during a storm that grounded his flight, he decided to sit by the airport window instead of pacing. He watched the rain for 2 hours, saying nothing. By the time the flight resumed, he realized stillness isn't something you wait for, it's something you choose. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not an escape from reality. It's an invitation to rule your inner world before the outer one pulls you apart. Because when the world shakes, your peace isn't supposed to shake with it." Here's a quiet truth. You don't need to slow the world to slow your heart. Stillness is not about stopping motion. It's about not being dragged by it. You don't owe every sound a reaction, every problem a panic, or every conflict a reply. Your calm is not a weakness. It's your proof that you've learned how to remain human when the world forgets how. So the next time someone tries to provoke you with urgency, blame, or noise, remember Tom Hanks's quiet wisdom. This too shall pass. The storm will end, the words will fade, and what will remain is the version of you that didn't lose yourself while waiting. Because stillness isn't about being untouched. It's about being unmoved. 10. Free yourself from what hurts. Anger doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hides as pain, disappointment, or the weight you refuse to drop. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand, waiting for the right moment to throw it at the one who hurt you. But while you wait, only your hand burns. That's what holding on to anger, resentment, or regret does. It doesn't punish them. It punishes you. We think strength means holding tighter to memories, to explanations, to people who once mattered. But release is the truest form of strength there is, because it takes courage to stop carrying what no longer serves your peace. I once met a man who couldn't forgive his brother. For years, he replayed one conversation, the one where betrayal began. He said, "I just want him to admit he was wrong." If you've ever felt that too, don't blame yourself for wanting closure. It only means you cared deeply. But the truth was, what he really wanted was time to move backward, to when things still felt whole. The past never gave it to him. So one day he stopped asking for closure and decided to give it to himself. That's when healing started. Not when his brother apologized, but when he stopped needing him to. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without reopening the wound. It's choosing not to drag yesterday's pain into tomorrow's peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not be disturbed by what is outside your power." That includes people, outcomes, and every why that will never be answered. The Stoics knew freedom doesn't come from fixing the world. It comes from freeing yourself from its grip. Sometimes life closes doors you weren't brave enough to close yourself. A friendship fades, a relationship ends, an old dream dissolves. You'll want to chase them, to make them stay. But the art of letting go isn't about giving up. It's about giving back what was never fully yours to hold. Try this tonight. Turn off the lights. Sit in silence. The kind that feels like the world forgot your name. Place your hand on your chest, not to feel your pulse, but to meet the part of you that's still alive beneath everything you lost. Now whisper, slowly, like a vow to the universe. I forgive what I couldn't fix. I release what was never mine to keep. I return to peace not because I've moved on, but because I'm finally home. That ache in your chest, it's not weakness leaving, it's history dissolving. This is not just letting go, it's resurrection in silence. The world will keep teaching this lesson in different forms. You can't rise while your hands are full of what's gone. Letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you lighter. And when you stop fighting what's already ended, you don't lose control, you regain it. Because the truth is, you don't need revenge. You don't need explanations. You just need your peace back. And once you let go, you'll realize that what you were clinging to wasn't love. It was fear of being without it. Letting go is how you finally meet yourself again, calm, whole, and free. Because when you release what hurts, you also release the part of you that once got angry so easily. If you're walking this same path of inner peace and strength, stay with us here at Move or Die Stoic, because this isn't just a channel, it's a place for men and women who choose to rise quietly. You've walked through anger, expectations, control, forgiveness, and now you've arrived here, where nothing outside of you can truly shake what's within. That's what the Stoics tried to teach all along. That peace isn't something you earn after the fight. It's what remains when you stop fighting yourself. Maybe life won't get easier. Maybe people won't always understand you. This entire journey wasn't about never feeling anger. It was about mastering the art of not being ruled by it. But if you've learned to stay centered when the world turns loud, you've already won the only battle that matters. Because the world doesn't need another perfect man. It needs one calm enough to stay kind when it's easier to turn cold. One steady enough to stay human when others lose theirs. So when tomorrow tries to pull you back into chaos, remember this. You've already been there, and you came back quieter, stronger, freer. That's the true victory, not over them, over the war within. That's how you never get angry or bothered by anyone again, because your peace is no longer negotiable. And if you ever forget that, come back here to Move or Die Stoic, where we don't just talk about peace, we practice it together.